Afternoon, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and cover chapter 6 today. This is entrepreneurship and small business ownership. Okay. So, before we even dive into any of this, we're going to go over what we'll be covering today. Now, in this chapter, so you have a better understanding, we're going to dive into the power of entrepreneurship and small business ownership. We're also going to be showcasing how these ventures drive the U.S. economy forward. And we'll be kicking off things by exploring the massive contributions of that small businesses tend to make. Did you even know that they create 60%, 66% of all new jobs? Remember that. Remember that keyword, 66% of all new jobs. And next, we're going to be uncovering why people take the leap into business ownership and what it even takes to succeed, from resilience to even innovation. But keep in mind that starting a business without a solid plan can be a recipe for disaster. And this is where I'm going to break down the key elements of a business plan and why it's very essential for securing funding and staying on track of things. We're going to speak of the different challenges, and we're going to examine why businesses fail. Say for instance, with because of poor financial management, that is a very, very big one. And why, where they're struggling, where struggling entrepreneurs can now find this type of support. Financing, this is another major hurdle. And we're going to be discussing the different ways that small businesses can get funding, whether it's through venture capitalists, angel investors, even crowdfunding. But let's just say you want to start a business with a built-in brand. This is where we're going to weigh in the pros and cons of franchising, say from brand recognition to even the costly franchising fees. And lastly, we're going to be wrapping up all of this, with the future of business, say with through machine learning and deep learning. And we're going to use, how these cutting edge type of technologies are revolutionizing everything from customer service, chatbots to even predictive analytics. So by the end of this chapter, you should have a very solid grasp on what it takes to build, fund, and even sustain a business in today's fast changing world. Okay. But before we dive into the whole meat of all of this, we need to have a clear understanding of what is a small business. Okay. Now, a small business, this is just the backbone of the US economy, which is independently owned and even operated. Now, these companies may be small in size, but they are mighty in impact. Now, a business is classified as small if it has fewer than 500 employees, which you can see by the table below. But the number varies by industry to industry. Interestingly enough, 80% of small businesses, they don't even have employees at all, which means they are solo entrepreneurs or even freelancers that are pretty much running the show. With over 31.7 million small businesses in the US, these businesses right here, they tend to drive job creation, innovation, even economic growth. Let's just say, for example, imagine a local coffee shop that crafts specialty brews and even provides a cozy space for the community. But unlike massive chains, this small business right here thrives on personalized service, unique branding, even community engagement. Now, whether it's a tech startup, a family even owned bakery, or even an independent consultant, small businesses, they tend to fuel creativity, independence, even economic resilience, which proves that the big things tend to start small. Okay. Now, this right here, this is the powerhouse of the economic growth. Small businesses, they don't just support the economy, they tend to drive it forward with unstoppable energy, which represents a huge portion of the US total economic output. Now, these businesses, they may not always have flashy headlines, but their impact is very undeniable. Let's just say from job creation to innovation, small businesses are the heartbeat of the local and national economies. Now, one of the biggest reasons why small businesses are very critical for economic growth is job creation. Now, in the last 25 years, small businesses, they have been responsible for about 66% of all new jobs. Remember that, 66% of all new jobs. And that's proving that they are the real engine of the employment. Now, imagine a thriving local bakery that starts with just one passionate entrepreneur. As demand continues to grow, the bakery is going to be hiring employees, partners also with these local suppliers. And they're even going to create opportunities for others in the community, all while delivering delicious treats. If you think about that. Now, beyond jobs, small businesses also bring innovation to industries. Unlike massive corporations, small businesses can pivot quickly, test new ideas, and even adapt to market changes with speed and agility. Let's just say tech startups, for example, they are pushing the boundaries in AI, sustainability, and even e-commerce, proving that some of the biggest ideas come from some of the smallest companies. But for small businesses to thrive, they need a healthy economic environment, supportive policies, even access to capital, even a customer base that values local and independent businesses. Let's just say whether it's a family owned restaurant, a cutting edge software firm, or a one person consulting service, small businesses, they fuel economic diversity, financial stability, even long term prosperity. Now, let's just say the next time you visit your favorite local shop or even hire a freelancer, you need to remember you're just not supporting a small business. You're strengthening the economy. Remember that. Now, this right here, this is the driving force of the economy. Now, what makes small businesses so powerful that they're just not tiny operations running in the background. They are the lifeblood of the economic growth. Now, every day, small businesses, they are creating jobs, driving innovation, even opening the doors for individuals to take control of their futures. But how do exactly do they even do that? Let's just say, imagine a local entrepreneur that's launching a tech startup, a family owned restaurant which is expanding its team, or even an independent contractor that's turning their side hustle into a full time career. These small businesses, they just don't survive. They tend to thrive, which means they're fueling the economic activity and they're keeping the industries very competitive. Now, over the next few slides, I'm going to be going, we're going to be going, I'm going to be breaking down all of this, into the next couple of slides. But first, we're going to explore how these small businesses are job creating machines, which, they're employing millions of people. And then we're going to dive into the innovative spirit, which allows a small business to disrupt industries and bring those fresh ideas to the market. And lastly, we're going to see how these small businesses tend to empower these individuals, meaning they offer that independence, the financial stability, even that path to success. So let's go ahead and get ready. Why? Because we're going to, because these small businesses, they're just not part of the economy. They are the economy. Remember that, you know. So this right here, this is the ultimate job creating powerhouse. So when it comes to job creation, small businesses are absolute game changers. Now, over the past 25 years, they've created a staggering 12.9 million new jobs, which account for about 66% of all jobs added. Keep that in mind. It's they're highlighted in red for a reason, you know, to this US economy. Now, you need to let that sink in. Two-thirds of all new jobs exist because of small businesses. But it doesn't just stop there. Small businesses were the driving force behind America's job recovery after the COVID 19 pandemic. Now, when the economy came to a halt and 9.1 million jobs disappeared, small businesses stepped up in a very, very big way. And it created about 5.5 million jobs and it fueled about 60% recovery. That's resilience in action if you think about it. So let's take a look of what's happening right now. Companies, let's say like local restaurants, e-commerce startups, even independent contractors, they are thriving the post-pandemic, hiring workers, expanding their reach. Tech startups, they're hiring developers. Solar energy companies, they're onboarding engineers. Even smaller online retailers, they're adding customer service reps to meet the rising demand. If you think about all this, every time you see a new coffee shop that's hiring, say, baristas, a local gym is bringing in new trainers, or even an independent marketing firm is onboarding that fresh talent. Now, this is your witness. What you're witnessing here is the power of small businesses in action. And these businesses, they're just not providing jobs. They're fueling the livelihood, supporting families, and even driving that economic growth. Keep remember that. So the next time, if you think about it, the next time somebody even asks, where do jobs really come from? You already know the answer. Small businesses, they're the lifeblood of the workforce, and they're just getting started. Okay. Now we jump into the first one. This is the innovation powerhouse. This is where it comes into pioneering the new ideas, even shaking up industries. Small businesses, they're the ultimate innovation hubs. So, unlike massive corporations, which they often tend to struggle, why with the bureaucracy and the slow decision making, small businesses, They are nimble, they're adaptable, they're even unafraid to take these risks. Innovation, if you think about it, it is the secret weapon of small business, of small businesses. They tend to have the freedom to even experiment, pivot, even create the groundbreaking solutions without the red tape, that ties up the big companies. Let's say, take a look at the startups, like let's say Warby Parker, which revolutionized the eyewear industry by selling directly to the consumers online, or Zoom, which started as a small tech company and it has now changed the way the world communicates in a digital age. Why? Because small businesses operate with tight knit teams and direct communication. They can also reinvent themselves quickly. Okay, let's go back to that coffee shop. They might integrate mobile ordering and AI-driven customer personalization, or a boutique fitness studio could even launch and innovate on-demand virtual class platforms to reach a wider audience. Now, the ability to spot these trends and respond fast gives small businesses a huge competitive edge. Let's not forget many of today's biggest companies. They started as small businesses experimenting with fresh ideas. Companies, let's say like Airbnb, Uber, even Shopify, they were once just bold ideas that challenged traditional business models. Small businesses serve as the laboratories of innovation, constantly testing new ways of doing things. And when they find what works, they tend to change the game. Okay. So remember, if you're looking for the next big thing, say in tech, fashion, food, even finance, don't just watch the corporate giants. Keep your eyes on small businesses. They're the ones that are rewriting the rules, even shaping the future. Okay. Now we move into the next one. This is where we empower the individuals and we create those new opportunities. Okay. So remember, small businesses, they just don't contribute to the economy. They empower these individuals to take control of their careers, financial futures, even personal success. When the job market tend to takes a hit, small businesses become the pathway to independence, even opportunity. Let's say during the COVID-19 pandemic, millions of workers saw that their jobs were disappearing overnight. But instead of waiting for these opportunities to return, many of them, they took the leap and they become their own boss. In fact, over 5.4 million new businesses were created during that time frame, marking a 20% surge in entrepreneurship. Let's say from laid off professionals launching consulting businesses, to chefs opening food trucks, even pop up kitchens. People were looking for new ways to thrive rather than just survive. So what makes these small businesses even special? They hire differently. So unlike if you think about it, unlike these big corporations, they rely solely on rigid experience and credentials. Small businesses, they're more likely to hire based on personal merit, creativity, even local connections, which pretty much means that the talented individuals who may have been overlooked by large firms can build rewarding careers in their own communities. You know, here's the ripple effect as an example. Let's say when small businesses flourish, they create more demand for other local businesses. A new marketing agency, they might even need a local accountant. A growing bakery, they could even rely on the neighborhood supplier. Even an independent contractor may even hire an assistant from the same town. This right here creates a cycle of opportunity where these small businesses, they support and uplift one another rather than sending these business to giant corporations. As an example. You know, Now, the key takeaway of all of this is that small businesses, they are just not job creators. They're the opportunity creators. Remember that. So remember, whether it's through hiring, networking, or even launching a new business, say from scratch, they give these individuals a power to shape their own future. Okay. Now, a quick quiz question. I said pay attention in the very beginning. What percentage of total US jobs were created by small businesses in the last 25 years? Is it A, 25%, B, 50%, C, 66%, or D, 80%? Now, the correct answer here is C, 66%. Okay. Why? Small businesses drive job creation. Remember, over the last 25 years, small businesses have created a staggering 66% of all new jobs here in the US, which prove that they are the backbone of the American economy. Remember, these businesses, they're just not small players. They are job creating powerhouses that tend to fuel the economic growth, innovation, and these local communities. Remember that. Keep that in mind. This right here, this entrepreneurial spirit, this is the fuel behind innovation and success. Okay. Now, what separates successful entrepreneurs from the rest, it's just not intelligence or even luck. It's having that entrepreneurial spirit. This right here, this is a mindset which is all about being forward thinking, solution driven, even constantly asking, like, how can we even do this better? Now, let's just say whether you're starting a business or even working within a company, an entrepreneurial spirit gives you the power to even innovate, lead, even create that real impact. Okay. Entrepreneurs, in other words, they are just not doers, or sorry, they're doers. They're just not dreamers. They take that calculated risk, embrace those challenges as opportunities, and they're even constantly looking for smarter ways to even work. Think about Elon Musk as an example, who redefined the electric car, the space travel, or even Sarah Blakely, who turned in those that simple idea of Spanx into a $1 billion brand. They didn't wait for success. They went after it and they created it. Okay. But you don't even need to launch, the next Tesla as an example to embody the entrepreneurial mindset. Anyone can apply these principles to their career, studies, or even personal projects, which means taking that ownership, meaning, of your tasks and responsibility, thinking, critical thinking, meaning making those quick, informed decisions, staying resourceful, meaning finding those solutions even when obstacles tend to arise. Okay. So being optimistic and growth oriented is constantly seeking to improve. Now, let's just say whether you're a natural leader or even a creative thinker or someone who's even excited to learn, even grow, developing that entrepreneur spirit is going to set you apart. Companies are going to then value, those employees who think like entrepreneurs, even business owners, thrive when they embrace in this type of mindset, you know? Now we jump into the 5 P's, you know, the 5 P's of entrepreneurship, the DNA of every successful entrepreneur. And what does it really take to be that entrepreneur? Remember, it's just not about having that great idea. It's about having that mindset and that drive to turn that idea even into reality. Now, these 5 P's of entrepreneurship, this right here, these are the ingredients to success. Now, let's just say whether you're starting your own business or even looking to bring innovation to the workplace. I'm going to break these down into some real world examples that are tied in with each one of them. Let's say the first one is passion. Okay. And with passion, this is where you fuel, the fuel that keeps you going. Let's just say if you don't love what you do, you won't even last a long time, or long in the game, of entrepreneurship. Passion is what tends to push those entrepreneurs to keep going when things tend to get tough. Think about Oprah Winfrey as an example, who turned her passion from storytelling into a media empire, or even Steve Jobs, whose obsession with design and technology led to the creation of Apple. Passion is the energy that turns dreams into reality. And then, of course, you have planning, which is the roadmap to success. So let's, as they say, a dream without a plan is just a wish. Successful entrepreneurs know that every great idea needs a strategic roadmap. Let's say whether it's launching a product, securing funding, or even growing a brand, planning ensures that goals are met with precision. Let's take Elon Musk as an example, you know, who even mapped out SpaceX's long-term mission to even colonize, Mars. And without careful planning, his ambitious vision would even remain science fiction. And then, of course, we have patience. And with patience, this is where success doesn't even happen overnight. Every entrepreneur faces obstacles. What's the difference here is that the successful ones, they don't even give up, when challenges arise. Amazon's, as an example, Jeff Bezos, he started by selling books from his garage in the 90s. It took years before even Amazon became the retail giant that it is today. Patience, as they say, it allows entrepreneurs to even stay the course, learn from its failures, even continue to push forward. Perseverance, you know, this just means turning those setbacks into comebacks, as an example. Now having this entrepreneurial journey, it's full of rejections, failures, even roadblocks. But if you think about it, true entrepreneurs, they don't quit. Howard Schultz is an example. He was turned down to over 242 times before even securing funding for Starbucks. And now, where is it now? It's a global coffee empire. When the doors close, successful entrepreneurs, they look for other ways in. Problem solving, seeing these challenges as opportunities. Think about it. Great entrepreneurs, they don't see problems. They see opportunities for solutions. Let's take Airbnb as an example. It was created when two broke roommates, they realized hotels were expensive and people needed alternative lodging. They solved a problem. They built $1 billion company. Whether it's big or small, businesses tend to succeed when they offer solutions that make life easier for others, as an example. So remember the mastering these 5 P's. You're going to have a foundation for success in any business or even career path. This entrepreneur spirit isn't just for the business owners. It's pretty much for anyone who wants to think big, take action, even create an impact. Now, this right here, this slide, this is the winning formula. This is where the qualities that are shared by successful entrepreneurs. This right here is what separates successful entrepreneurs from everyone else. Okay, it's not luck, money, or even connections. It's the mindset, the qualities that they develop that drive them to success. Let's just say you want to build something great, whether it's a business, a career, or even a passion project. You need these three powerful traits, confidence, passion, drive. Okay. So I'm going to break down each one of these, with a few examples. Okay. Remember, first one, confidence. This right here is the power to take control. Entrepreneurs tend to believe in themselves and in their ability to shape their future. They don't sit back and wait for opportunities, they tend to create them. Let's say, like Elon Musk, he didn't wait for someone else to build the electric cars or commercial space travel. He had confidence to make it happen himself with Tesla and even SpaceX. You know, if you think about it, confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about trusting yourself, learning from your mistakes, and adapting to those challenges. Entrepreneurs, they just don't see failures as the end. They see it as a stepping stone. The second one we have is passion. And with passion, this is the fuel that keeps you going. So, as they say, if you don't love what you do, it's hard to keep pushing through those challenges. Keep in mind that successful entrepreneurs, they're deeply passionate about their work, and passion intends to inspire others. Say, like Walt Disney, as an example. He didn't start with $1 billion company. He started with a passion for storytelling and animation, which then led to the empire that we know of today. Or Serena Williams is another one. She turned her passion for tennis into one of the greatest athletic careers in history, which she proved that passion fuels discipline, even greatness. Okay. So keep in mind that passion, it's just more than motivation. It's what tends to drive you to keep going, even when things get tough. Entrepreneurs, as an example, they don't just chase the money, they chase a mission. You have to have a mission set in place. The third one that we have is drive. And with drive, that means the relentless work ethic. Successful entrepreneurs, they're willing to put in the work. They are disciplined, focused, even ready to make sacrifices to achieve that vision. Okay, let's say like Michael Jordan as an example. He became the greatest basketball player of all time. Why? Because of his unstoppable drive to outwork everyone. Or let's say Jeff Bezos, going back to him, He worked relentlessly to build Amazon, let's say from a small online bookstore into the world's largest e-commerce company. But remember, it didn't happen overnight. Okay, so drive, the lesson that's learned with this right here is that drive doesn't just mean showing up day after day, staying disciplined, doing the work even when no one is watching. Entrepreneurs don't wait for that motivation, they tend to create it with action. Okay, so let's just say if you can develop that confidence, that passion, the drive, there is no limit to what you can even achieve. Remember, every successful entrepreneur started as a dreamer, but they tend to turn that dream into a reality through belief, energy, even relentless action. Okay, remember that. So here's another quiz question. It's a true and false. Okay, entrepreneurs must always have a large amount of capital to start a successful business. True or false? B, false. Okay, you don't need a fortune to even start a business. Now, the idea that entrepreneurs must have a large amount of capital to start a successful business tends to be a myth. While funding can help, many of the world's most successful businesses started with minimal capital, and they tend to grow it through creativity, persistence, even smart strategies. Okay, so the bottom line of all of this is that money does help, but it is not the key ingredient for success. Innovation, persistence, and having that great idea is. So now we're going to jump into the blueprint for an effective business plan, setting the foundation for success. Now, before I jump into the next few slides, every successful business starts with a solid strategy. But how do we even map it out? This is where the business model and the business plan comes into play. Keep in mind, there is a difference between the two. Now, a business model, this is the big picture, the blueprint of how your business operates and makes money. It's the engine that keeps your business running. Think of companies, say, like Netflix. Their business model here evolved from DVD rentals to subscription-based streaming empire, which now has changed, or which has changed how people consume entertainment. Now, on the other hand, the business plan. This is a very detailed roadmap that outlines your vision, strategy, even your financial projections and growth potential. This one right here, this is what investors look for, and this is how they decide whether to fund your business. For example, like Airbnb, how they pitched this business plan to its investors. It had to prove how its model could even disrupt the hospitality industry. And now, what is it worth? Billions. So over these next few slides, I'm going to break down the difference between the business model, the business plan, and why these two are very, very crucial for success, and how you can build an effective strategy to launch and grow your business. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right into them. So this slide right here, this is going to cover both the business model and the business plan. This is what's the difference and why do you need both. Now, let's just say if you're serious about launching or even growing a business, you need to understand the difference between the business model and a business plan. And this is where I give you the whole breakdown. They tend to work together, but they serve with very different purposes. So let's go ahead and break it down. Now, the first one that you see here is the business model. This is the money making machine. This right here, this is how your company makes its money. It's the foundation of your business. Without it, there's no revenue, no profit, even no sustainability. Think of it as a blueprint of your operations. As an example, like Netflix, it started as a DVD rental by mail, company, but it then realized that the future was in streaming. So it go ahead and shifted, meaning they pivoted into their business model to a subscription-based platform that now delivered unlimited on-demand content. What was the result of this? A multi-million-dollar company that disrupted the entertainment industry. Your business model should answer key questions like who is your target customer? What value are you even providing? How do you even generate revenue? What are your key partnership costs, even resources? Now, the business plan, this is the roadmap to success. This right here, this is the strategy that documents and outlines where your business is going, how it will grow, how it will be financially viable. Investors, lenders, even internal teams, they rely on a business plan to make those decisions, even set your goals. Let's just say, going back to that example, like the Airbnb, where Airbnb pitch to its investors, its business plan outline, market opportunity, like the people who wanted affordable, unique accommodations, the revenue strategy, this was where the service fee model, this is where both of them hosted and guests were then charged, scalability, how the platform would even grow globally. This detailed plan helped Airbnb secure funding and even revolutionize travel. You know, there's things that the business plan should include, which would be your executive summary, your business model and market analysis, your financial projections and revenue model, your marketing and growth strategy, and of course, your funding needs and exit strategy. Now, the bottom line of all of this is that you need both. The business model, this is your game plan for making money. Your business plan, keep in mind, is your roadmap for growth and execution. Okay. So remember, a great business model won't survive without a plan. And a great plan means nothing with a solid model behind it. Okay. Now, think about it. If you were to ask yourself, does your business idea have both the model and the plan to succeed? Remember that. Okay. Now, I pretty much have, I guess you could say, like a one versus the other. It's like a compare and contrast between each one of them here. But you see, this is the perfect pair for success, and you can see them side by side. Remember, the business model, it's all about the real world action, which is what you see in blue. Getting outside, talking to customers, testing whether your idea even actually works. Instead of spending months of paperwork, successful entrepreneurs, they start lean. They build prototypes. They adapt their ideas based on the real feedback. They take, let's take Dropbox, for example. Before investing heavily into development, they released a simple explainer video to test demand. And it went viral. People signed up, only that they move forward with the full scale production. That's the power of a business model. It's about validating your idea through hands-on experience before making those big commitments. Now, on the other hand, the business plan, it's about structure, strategy, the long-term growth, while a business model tends to focus on providing your concept. A business plan helps you secure that funding, maps out your financial future, even creates a clear execution strategy. Let's say Tesla as an example. Elon Musk, he didn't just start making cars. He developed a step-by-step business plan that pretty much outlined how Tesla would even first sell its high-end vehicles to fund the future mass market models. Investors, they don't fund ideas. They fund well-researched plans with solid financial projections. The secret to entrepreneur success, remember, mastering these two right here. Test and validate your model, then craft a strong plan to scale and even dominate within that industry. So let's jump into another quiz question. It's a multiple choice. Okay, there's only one correct answer here. Which of the following is not typically included in a business plan? Is it A, financial projections? Is it B, market research? Is it C, employee payroll records? Or is it D, a business model? Go ahead and take a second, a minute or two to go ahead and, or 30 seconds, better yet, on what the answer is. Correct answer here is C, employee payroll records. A business plan is a strategic document that outlines a company's vision, marketing strategy, financial goals, even operational plan. Okay, but it doesn't include the detailed employee payroll records. Well, it may even provide staffing projections or even labor cost estimates, specific payroll records that say, such as individual salaries, benefits, or even pay schedules. Those are, those are considered as internal HR documents. They're not part of the business planning success. Okay. Oh, we jump into the next one. 6-4, 6-4. This is, this is about business failures. The reality of business survival and why some make it and others even don't. Now, starting a business is very exciting, but as they say, the numbers don't lie. Survival isn't even guaranteed. So, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is the BLS, only about, which I point out there, 80% of the business of businesses tend to survive within their first year, meaning 1 in 5 fails within just 12 months. Okay. As the time goes on, the survival rate tends to drop dramatically. So by year 5, only about 50%, remain standing, meaning half of all businesses will have now failed. So what you see in red there, it had that those are businesses that have failed within that time frame. So you have an idea. Let's just fast forward to year 10. You know, only about 33% of businesses are still operating, which now leaves two-thirds of them out of the game. And for those that make it, say, past 15, just 25% tend to survive, which means there's a staggering 75% of businesses will have shut down by that point. So why do so many, you probably ask yourself, why do so many businesses fail? There's many reasons, they vary, but some of the biggest pitfalls would, include such as poor financial management. That's first and foremost. That's very, very important. Lack of market demand, weak leadership, failure to adapt to changing conditions. Businesses that survive and thrive are those that have a strong business model, a well thought out plan, access to capital, even the ability to pivot when challenges tend to arise. Let's say, take Amazon, for example. Starting as an online bookstore, it continuously innovated and expanded into a global e-commerce giant. But on the flip side of all of that, companies say like Blockbuster, they failed to adapt to changing consumer preferences, which led to their downfall. The lesson here, entrepreneurship is a marathon. It's not a sprint. The key to survival here is strategy, adaptability, even resilience. Remember that. So now we've covered 6.4. We're going to jump into 6.5. And in 6.5, I'm going to go over some of the financing options that you see here, that are available for small businesses. So finding the right funding to fuel that growth. Now, one of the biggest challenges here is that entrepreneurs tend to face is securing the capital that they need to start, even sustain, and even grow their business. Now, without having that proper funding, even the best business ideas, they tend to struggle to take off. Now, the good news is there are multiple ways to even finance your business, each with its own advantages, even considerations. Now, I'm going to go over the next few slides, about 6 of them, and I'm going to dive into the different funding options that are available and how they can help turn your business dreams into reality. We're going to explore seed money or seed funding. Okay, this is which helps the entrepreneurs get started at the earliest stage, to the venture capitalists who are going to invest into the growth startups in exchange for equity, your micro lenders, which offer those smaller loans for businesses that might not even qualify for the traditional bank loans. While angel investors, on the other hand, these are where there's wealthy individuals looking to invest into promising startups. They can also provide both, let's say, capital, even the mentorship, and we're going to be discussing crowdfunding, where businesses tend to raise money from the public through platforms, say like Kickstarter or even GoFundMe, even in initial public offering, or which are known as the IPOs, which allow businesses to go public and even sell shares to the investors. So there's no single funding source, as they call it. There's no single funding source which is perfect, that is perfect for every business. Each of them has its own risks, rewards, even requirements. And as we move through the next slides, I'm going to break down how these financing options work, or who they're best suited for, and the entrepreneurs can then position, themselves for financial success. You know, So the first one we have here is seed money. This is where we first spark the launch, of a business. Now, as they say, every great business starts with an idea, but turning that idea into reality requires capital. This is where seed money comes in. This is the initial funding. Entrepreneurs, need to get their businesses off the ground, which cover that essential early stage expense, say like market research, prototype development, even initial business operations. Think of seed capital as the fuel that turns an idea into something tangible. Now, one of the best examples of seed funding in action is Amazon, as an example. Before it became the e-commerce giant we know today, Jeff Bezos, he secured over 300,000 in seed funding from his parents, and that was to launch what was originally just an online bookstore. You know, this is where the early investment allowed him to build a website, set up logistics, even test that business model. And as you know, the rest is history. Seed funding pretty much uh, comes from angel investors, which are high net worth individuals who believe in a startup's potential, or from an entrepreneur's personal savings, friends, even family. You know, as they say, once a business gains traction, it can then attract those larger investors, say like venture capitalists, for the next stage of growth. The bottom line of all of this is that seed money is where it all begins. It's the critical first step that helps entrepreneurs validate their ideas, develop their products, even lay the foundation for long-term success. The question is, if let's just say if you had the right seed funding, what game-changing idea would you even bring to life? And then, of course, we have microlenders. And with microlenders, this is as they call it, the small loans, big impact. So not every entrepreneur needs or even qualifies for a large bank loan, and this is where the micro lender comes in. Micro lenders, micro lending pretty much connects those borrowers with lenders for small, non-traditional loans, which make it an accessible funding option for startups, small businesses, even individuals with limited credit history. Now, whether someone just needs 500 to buy inventory for an online store or 5,000 to expand a local bakery, these microlenders help turn these small dollar loans into big opportunities. Now, one of the most well known success stories in microlending is Kiva, which is a global microloan platform that has helped thousands of small businesses. Let's say, like a single mother in Kenya who secured a microloan to launch her tailoring business with just a few $100s. She was able to buy fabric, fulfill those orders, and eventually she scaled her operation. Microlending, in other words, these platforms right here, like Kiva, Accion, even PayPal's working capital, they tend to connect these entrepreneurs with investors around the world, offering flexible loan terms, even empowering business owners who might even have otherwise be shut down by traditional banks. And all of this matters because microlending is more than just funding. It's about economic empowerment, financial inclusion, even giving small businesses a fighting chance. With a rise of peer-to-peer lending and even digital platforms, getting a microloan is easier than ever if you think about it. And this allows entrepreneurs everywhere to secure the resources that they need to grow, even thrive. You know, could a microloan be a game changer for the next big idea? Think about that. And then, of course, we jump into venture capitalists. This one right here, this is the fuel behind the billion-dollar startup. Now, when a startup has a big ambitious but lacks the funding to scale, this is where the venture capitalists tend to step in to turn ideas into empires. Okay, this one right here, this is where the high stake investors who provide cash in exchange for equity, and they help these young companies commercialize their products, expand their operations, even dominate their industries. But here's the catch: venture capitalists, they don't invest in just any business. Okay, they're looking for a high growth potential, disruptive idea, and massive market opportunity. Now, one of the biggest VC success stories, let's say Facebook. This is back when Mark Zuckerberg, he was just a college student with a dorm room project. This is where the venture capitalist Jim Breyer, he saw the potential and he invested early on. The funding that he did pretty much allowed Facebook to scale globally, refine its platform, and eventually they became the social media giant that we know today. The same goes for Twitter, Uber, even Airbnb. All of these right here, they started as a risky idea, but they exploded after securing VC backing or venture capitalists, the backing of a venture capitalist. So because VCs are venture capitalists, they're risk takers. They know not every investment will succeed, but the ones that do can deliver massive returns. While many startups tend to fail, the few that tend to thrive can also become those industry leaders. And this is why securing venture capital isn't just about getting money. It's about getting the right investors who bring the right connections, expertise, and they fuel to take a business to the next level. Okay. And then, of course, we have angel investors. This one right here, this is the game changer behind the startup success. So if you think about it, when traditional banks, they won't even take that risk, or even venture capitalists, they're not ready to step in. This is where the angel investor, can be the lifeline that turns a startup dream into a reality. These high net worth individuals, they personally invest in early stage businesses, which are often using their money, making them one of the most valuable funding sources for entrepreneurs. Now, unlike venture capitalists who manage those pool funds, angel investors invest. Why? Because they believe in the vision, the founder, even the potential for impact. Let's just say a perfect example here is Jeff Bezos and Amazon. Now, in the early 1990s, Bezos secured a 1 million in seed funding from these angel investors, which allowed Amazon to grow, let's say, from a simple online bookstore into the e-commerce powerhouse that we know today. Other companies, say like Google, Uber, even WhatsApp, they also received early backing from angel investors before they even skyrocketed to success. You know, angel investors, they just don't bring the money; they bring the mentorship, industry connections, even the hands-on support, and that is to help startups navigate these challenges and accelerate the growth. But let's not forget, angel investing is also risky, and most investors, they limit their startup investments, let's say, to about 10% of their portfolio, and that is to manage the potential losses. You know, angel investors, on the other hand, they bet on big ideas and bold entrepreneurs. They often, before anyone else sees the potential, so let's just say if you have that groundbreaking business idea, the right angel investor could be the key to launching and scaling your vision, you know? And then, of course, we have IPO right here. This is where the big league moves, is the big league move for business. This is where we're taking a company, let's say, from a private to public. This is one of the most exciting milestones, if you think about it, in business history. Even that's exactly what an initial public offering is, and or what an IPO does. An IPO, it allows companies to sell those shares, to the public, raising massive capital, to fuel its expansion, innovation, even market domination. But this isn't just about money, it's about credibility, visibility, even taking the business to the next level, as an example. Let's just say for companies, it's a way to secure that huge capital without taking on debt. For investors, even early backers, it's a major cash out moment where they can now sell these shares for, let's say, big returns. But going public isn't very easy. Companies, they need the strict SEC regulations. They work with the investment banks. Even how, they prove that they're ready for this public trading. The bottom line of all of this is that an IPO isn't just a financial move. It's a statement that a company has arrived on the world stage. And it means that if the high stakes, these high stakes, high reward strategy, they have the potential to turn these startups into the industry giants, you know? And then, of course, the last one we have is crowdfunding. This right here, this is where we turn these ideas into reality with the power of crowd. So let's just say, imagine thousands of people backing your business idea. That's the magic of crowdfunding. It also allows the entrepreneurs to raise capital from the everyday investors, supporters, even the fans, and that is by pitching their vision on platforms, say like on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, even GoFundMe. Instead of relying on banks or even big investors, startups can attract small contributions from large number of people, sometimes of investments as low as $10. Now, one of the biggest crowdfunding success stories is Oculus Rift. So before the virtual reality, it became mainstream. Oculus raised about 2.4 million on Kickstarter, and it proved that there was a demand for virtual reality or VR headsets. That momentum then caught the attention of Facebook, which then later acquired Oculus for about 2 billion. That's the power of crowdfunding. It's not just about the funding, it's the validation. Okay. Now, crowdfunding, if you think about it, it isn't just for tech, it's for products, creative projects, even social ventures, small businesses that are looking to gain that traction. So keep in mind that whether it's a new eco friendly product, a revolutionary app, or even a small bakery that's looking to expand, crowdfunding right here, it provides a direct connection to supporters who believe in that vision. Okay. Crowdfunding, in other words, democrat is Democratizes funding, which gives anyone with a great idea a chance to raise that money, build a community, even launch something big. Okay. Now, true or false? Venture capitalists, they tend to use their own money to invest in startups. True or false? Okay. So it is false. Why? Because venture capitalists, they do not use their own money. Okay. They do not invest their personal money into startups. Instead, they manage pooled funds from outside investors and they allocate those funds into high growth businesses. VCs or venture capital firms, they raise that money from institutions, pension funds, wealthy individuals, even corporations who are looking for high returns. You know, they strategically invest into startups with massive growth potential, which aims to generate a huge return for their investors. Okay. So we're nearing the end and we jump into franchising. This right here, this is the proven path to business success. Okay. So franchising, it is a powerful business model. This also allows individuals to operate a business that uses an established brand, a proven system, even ongoing support that is needed, like let's just say marketing. But what exactly does it mean to even own a franchise? So I'm going to go over the next three sides. I'm going to break each one of them down. There's three different types, and we're going to start. We're going to start by understanding what a franchise is and how it even works, and then we're going to follow it, with the three some key players: the franchisor, which is the brand owner; the franchisee, which is the business operator; and then we're going to dive into the pros and cons of franchising. And we're going to discuss the benefits of brand recognition, training, even support, along with the cost restrictions and the ongoing fees that are involved in this. Now, if you ask yourself, is franchising the right business model for me? Now, let's just say whether you even dream of running your own fast food restaurant, fitness center, even a service-based business, franchising right here, it tends to offer a structured path to entrepreneurship. So let's go ahead and jump into the next slide, which I'm going to be covering franchising, okay, and understanding it. This right here, this is a fast track to business ownership. Okay. This is a proven business model. This one right here allows an entrepreneur to even own and operate a business under an established brand. Okay. And instead of starting from scratch, franchisees, they buy into a successful system and they also gain that access to, let's say, the products, the branding, even the business expertise in exchange for a franchise fee. And in return, the franchisor provides, let's say, the support, the training, even recognizable brand name, which increases the chances of success. One of the best examples, if you think about it, McDonald's. Okay. Let's say when someone buys Mickey D's or the McDonald's franchise, they're not just opening a restaurant. They're investing, let's say, into the global brand with the built-in marketing, the supplier relationships, even the operational support. However, franchises, on the other hand, the franchisee, sorry about that, they need to pay these ongoing royalties, which can range anywhere from 4.6% to 12.5%. It just depends on the industry. And these royalties, they help the franchisors maintain brand consistency and provide continued training and even fund nationwide type advertising. Okay, franchising, it offers a lower risk path to business ownership compared to, say, starting a business from scratch. But if you think about it, it comes with the rules, fees, even the obligations. So let's just say if you're looking to own a business with an established reputation and your ready-made customer base, this one right here, franchising, this could be the perfect opportunity for you. And then let's jump into the three: the franchisee, and the franchisor. Okay. Now, this one right here, this is the power trio of franchising. Franchising is a win win business model, and it allows individuals to own and even operate a business under an established brand while benefiting from, let's say, the proven system, marketing, even ongoing support. But who are the key players here? Okay, I'm going to break each one of them down. The franchise, okay, this is where the overall business arrangement, this is where one company tends to grant another the right to sell its product and even operate under its brand. This model right here, it allows businesses to expand rapidly without opening locations themselves. And then, of course, you have the franchisee. And then the franchisee, this is where the business owner who buys the franchise is investing into the brand, in the brand itself, into the brand name, sorry, the products, even the operating system. And they follow the franchiser's rules. They tend to pay these royalties, and they even benefit from building that brand recognition, training, even ongoing support. And then, of course, you have the franchisor. Within the franchisor, this is the company that owns the brand and licenses that its business system to franchisees. They provide the business model, branding, even operational playbook, and it ensures consistency across all the franchise locations, you know? So franchising, it offers a structured path to business ownership, but keep in mind that it requires commitment, financial investment, and even adherence to brand guidelines, you know? Now, like anything else, it does have its pros and cons, of franchising, as an example, but you ask yourself, a fast track to business ownership, but you ask yourself, is it right for you? So franchising, it provides a structured market tested business model. And it also makes it a popular choice, say, for entrepreneurs that are looking to own a business with that reduce risk with an established brand, operational blueprint, and even built-in customer base. Franchisees, they gain instant recognition and structured support without having to build a business from scratch. Now, the biggest advantages here include brand name, credibility, access to pre-approved suppliers, even ongoing training from the franchisor, which also reduces the learning curve and helps franchisees focus on running their business efficiently. In addition to all of this, many operational decisions, say like such as a product selection, store layout, even marketing strategies. They're already in place. They allow franchisees, to follow this proven formula for success. However, franchising it isn't, without any challenges. Say the high startup costs, the ongoing royalty fees, even the limited creative freedom. They can make it difficult for franchisees to fully control their business. Franchise owners, they need to adhere to strict corporate rules regarding everything from the menu items to the employee uniforms, leaving little room for even innovation. In addition to all of this, some franchises, they tend to impose territory restrictions, which can also create competition between franchisees within that same brand, you know? So we jump into the last item here, 6, 7, machine learning and deep learning. Okay. This is right here. This is the power behind the smart technology. Now, machine learning and deep learning, this is revolutionizing the way that technology tends to think, learn, even make the decisions. So let's just say whether you realize it or not, you're interacting with them every single day. Okay. Now, machine learning that you see here, this is a smart pattern finder. Okay. This is a form of artificial intelligence that allows computers to learn from data, even make these decisions without being, explicitly programmed. This works, by extracting the key features, say, from the inputs and classifying them, based on the patterns. Let's just say, for example, if you upload a picture of a car, machine learning will then analyze its features, shapes, wheels, size, and classify it as a car or not a car. Let's just say, for example, Netflix. It uses machine learning to recommend what to watch next. How? By analyzing your viewing habits. It even predicts what you love based on those choices. And then deep learning. This is AI on steroids. Okay. Deep learning, this is a more advanced subset of machine learning that uses neural networks that are modeled after the human brain, to process these vast amounts of data without human intervention. Now, instead of just identifying a car or not a car, deep learning goes even deeper. It can detect the color, the brand, the model, even predict potential issues with the vehicle itself. Let's say self-driving cars as an example, like Tesla. They rely on deep learning to recognize pedestrians, road signs, even predict movements of other vehicles in real time. It's autonomous, cars as an example, they're getting smarter with every mile that they drive. Now, the bottom line of all of this is that machine learning is powerful, but deep learning, it takes AI to the whole next level, which allows systems to make those decisions more accurately, faster, with less human involvement. Let's say from Siri to Alexa, understanding the voice commands to facial recognition, unlocking your phone. This technology right here is shaping the future. Okay. So now that we've come to an end in this chapter right here, entrepreneurship, small business, and even the road to success. So you have a better grasp of what we just covered in this chapter. We explored the vital role of small businesses and entrepreneurs here, in the U.S. economy. We broke down the key elements of business ownership, the growth strategies, the technological advances, and how it even shaped the future. We began all of this by highlighting the contributions of small businesses to even the job creation, innovation, economic growth, small business, and how small businesses generates millions of jobs and act as incubators for new ideas, even provide opportunities for those individuals seeking independence. We then examine why people even start their own business, and we focus on the passion, financial potential, even driving that for independence. Keep in mind the successful entrepreneurs, how they share these key traits like confidence, perseverance, even problem solving abilities, which tend to fuel their ability to even navigate these challenges. From there, we then explored the importance of business planning, where we emphasize that a strong business plan also serves as a roadmap for success. We detailed that strategy, the finances, the growth objectives. However, not all businesses they tend to succeed, and how we broke down the common cause of business failure, which included poor financial management, the lack of market demand, even the leadership challenges. How these how these risks were counteract, and how we identified the key sources of business support and funding, which includes seed money, micro lenders, even venture capitalists, angel investors, IPOs, even crowdfunding. Now, in this chapter, we also covered franchising as an alternative path to business ownership, and I explained the roles of franchisers, and I weighed in the pros and cons of operating a business with an established system. And lastly, this is where we wrapped up with looking into what machine learning and deep learning is. And I discussed how the AI-driven technologies have transformed business business operations, the decision making, even the customer experiences from, let's say, from the next recommendations to the self-driving cars. Keep in mind that machine learning is still shaping the way businesses operate in the digital era. Okay, so keep in mind that whether you're launching a startup, securing a funding, or even leveraging AI for growth, entrepreneurship is about strategy, adaptability, and even innovation.